10 little soldier boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8. 8 little soldier boys traveling in Devon. One said he'd stay there, and then there were 7. 7 little soldier boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in halves, and then there were 6. 6 little soldier boys playing with the hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. 5 little soldier boys going in for law. One got in chancery, and then there were 4. 4 little soldier boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. 3 little soldier boys walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. 2 little soldier boys sitting in the sun. One got frizzled up, and then there was 1. 1 little soldier boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were none. This is an excerpt from And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. This was her inspiration and main plot of the book.
Agatha Christie was born on September 15, 1890 in Devon, England. She died January 12, 1976. Her famous classic murder mysteries include Murder on Orient Express, Crooked House, and 5 Little Pigs. This story took place on Soldier Island, located off the coast of Devon, England, during the 1930s. When 10 guilty strangers are invited to a mysterious island, one by one, according to a poem, they will be killed. The least guilty are killed first, and the most guilty are killed last.
An important character named Ewan Owen is a sadistic main character who invites 10 indirectly murderous people to Soldier Island. Following a famous poem called 10 Little Soldier Boys, he begins to murder his guests in correspondence with the poem. Ewan Owen is fulfilling his desire to commit a grand-scale murder. This thrilling story has a theme at karma. What goes around comes around. All the guests were guilty of murdering someone without being caught. In turn, they were murdered by someone who did not get caught. We are all guilty of something that weighs on our conscience.
Another creepy passage in the story was when a voice announced to all the guests killed. This is what the voice read. Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. You are charged with the following indictments. Edward George Armstrong, that you did upon the 14th day of March 1925, cause the death of Louisa May Cleves. Emily Caroline Brent, that upon the 5th of November 1931, you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. William Henry Bloor, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor on October 10, 1928. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that on the 11th day of August 1935, you killed Cyril Oligaby Hamilton.
Philip Lombard, that upon a date in February, you were guilty of the death of 21 members of an East African tribe. John Gordon MacArthur, that on the 4th of January, 1917, you deliberately sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that upon the 14th day of November, you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Thomas. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that on the 6th of May, 1929, you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wardry, that on the 10th day of June, 1930, you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense? Said the voice.
Now moving on to our opinions on the book. I thought the book was thrilling and suspenseful. It was very creative. I liked how Agatha Christie based the story off a poem. While I read it, I felt very paranoid that this situation would happen to me. This book is recommended to a mature audience. The story was gross and creepy. A viewer should buy this book because it's a successful classic novel that is worthy of being read again and again.
Thanks for watching our book talk on And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.